Hello friends and loved ones, and welcome back to another Pointless Persona Picks, the show where I highlight 5 of the best instances of whatever thing I think is worth discussing. Because while they may seem pointless, even the smallest thing has the potential to offer up something incredible. Because I'm discussing things far and wide throughout the entire Persona series, consider this your spoiler warning for the games as a whole. Now, I recently celebrated my channel's 10th anniversary, and like many of my anniversaries, I talked about the N64 3D platformer, Glover. But my audience doesn't want to watch me talk about Glover, they want to see me talk about Persona. So, the star of today's Pointless Persona Picks is the top 5 gloves in Persona. That's one entry for each finger. So long as you count the thumb, I guess. Let's get the obvious thing out of the way now. There are currently 5 party members in the Persona series that specifically use gloves or fists as their primary weapon. As such, I could just make this list the 5 strongest glove weapons and call it a day. But I have so much more respect for all of you than that, and I have more respect for this process. So, let's try and find the ones that truly are the most mechanically or narratively interesting gloves in the Persona series. I'm a big fan of boxing gloves. There's just something I like about the aesthetic, and it provides a good blend of tough but cartoony. Like I said, we've seen several characters use boxing gloves before, but let's go one step beyond that. How about the spring-loaded boxing glove? That's always a crowd pleaser. There are even a few Persona attacks that take advantage of this aesthetic. However, there's one spring-loaded boxing glove that always stood out to me, and that's Teddie's glove from the Persona 4 Arena games. While Teddie mostly uses clawed weapons in Persona 4, this particular glove comes as a surprise left hook by launching right out of his mascot mouth. I even like his little logo on the wrist there. It's memorable, it's punchy, and it's even more fun to think about his human self being the one to launch it out of his gaping mascot maw. Doubly so when you win the fight and he reveals he was in his Alice garb while he was using that thing to punch people out of the air. There's just something extra satisfying about that. Hey, real quick, if you like what I'm doing on this channel, please consider commenting, subscribing, maybe even checking out the Patreon. It honestly does help a lot. Thank you so much. Moving on. I've said before that Junpei Iori is probably my favorite of the sidekick characters. He has a genuinely good story arc that fleshes him out as a character independently of Makoto, while also having a really good start-to-finish arc with the protagonist himself. He's envious of Makoto's role as the leader and the respect he gets from the group, and Junpei is often made to feel like he's a joke or not contributing as much, so he's more eager to prove himself. One of my favorite additions to Persona 3 Reload was the linked episodes. These were basically social links, except they weren't associated with an arcana and you didn't have to go through 10 of them. Like a normal social link, each character gives Makoto a gift at the end of it, with Junpei giving Makoto a glove. A baseball glove, that is. It's a nice scene between the characters, and it's a good symbolic gesture that Junpei is a team player, and the rousing game of catch they were hoping to have symbolizes their friendship, and Junpei truly moving on from the pettiness and grudges he carried throughout much of the game. Even the simple animation of Junpei just tossing the glove to Makoto makes me smile, and that's why it's absolutely one of the top gloves in the series. Okay, I know I said at the start of this video that I wasn't going to just load this list up with a bunch of ultimate glove weapons, but that doesn't mean ultimate weapons can't be eligible, especially in a great case like this. The character Reiji Kido wears these super sweet Stars and Stripes gloves, which are obviously inspired by famed daredevil Evel Knievel, who inspired the Simpsons character Lance Murdoch, who was referenced in the instruction manual for Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey, where Atlas West gave the protagonist Simpsons references as names, and... Okay, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. Where was I? Oh, right, Reiji's gloves. They look cool, right? Nearly every Persona 1 character gets a unique accessory to make their uniform stand out, and Reiji gets those sweet gloves. But what if I told you there was actually more to it than that? A few years after Persona 1, during the events of Persona 2 Innocent Sin, Tatsuya and friends can search through the abandoned factory as an optional dungeon, solving its multiple puzzles and spreading various rumors. Waiting at the very end for them is Reiji Kido himself, who has been upgraded to a suit and tie. However, Lisa Silverman recognizes Reiji's gloves and declares that they could stop an out-of-control truck with a single punch. she must have them. While Reiji is reluctant to give his gloves up to some kid he just met, she eventually wears him down by just staring at him hard enough. So yeah, those awesome gloves that were part of Reiji Kido's design in Persona 1 are Lisa Silverman's ultimate weapon in Persona 2, which is a pretty rad connection for some super sweet gloves. Characters in the Persona side games are often a mixed bag. On one hand, they usually get the most narrative focus in their games and can give us some truly memorable moments. On the other, sometimes it sucks knowing we're very unlikely to ever see them again. Or if we do, probably not in a meaningful way. For example, I personally enjoyed Toshiro from Persona 5 Tactica. Sure, I wish he'd gotten a proper costume and codename. I mean, come on, they even gave him a mask, why not just go all out with it? But one of the most noticeable elements of Toshiro's design is the white glove that he wears on a single hand. Who do you think you are, Toshiro? Miracle Johnson? Well, toward the end of the Third Kingdom, we discover this glove is more than just a goofy fashion statement. Toshiro wears it to cover up the scars left on his hand from an accident where he tried to save his high school bestie, Eri Natsuki, from getting hit by a train. And when Toshiro overcomes his personal fears and hang-ups to try and save Erina, whom his psyche based off of Eri Natsuki, we see him step up and the glove rips away, revealing the scars below. It's a really powerful moment for Toshiro and the story as a whole, and the glove is a big and memorable part of that. The only reason why it's arguably not number 1 on this list is because the end of the game, when he's back in the real world, shows that he's wearing it again, which kinda confused me because I thought a big part of the symbolism of it ripping away is that he didn't need to hide behind it anymore. But hey, maybe now it is just a goofy fashion statement. And lastly, our number 1 glove in Persona should not come as too much of a surprise. It's Akechi's glove from Persona 5 Royal. In the 8th rank of his confidant, Akechi tosses Ren his glove to officially challenge him to a future duel. While it may not seem like too much at the time, accepting this glove eventually pays off in a pretty big way. Toward the end of Shido's palace, even after defeating Akechi and he's about to be killed by Shadows and his cognitive self, Ren can let Akechi know that he'll hold onto his glove, anticipating the day when they can have a proper rematch. By acknowledging Akechi as your rival and taking his glove, you've set the flags for one of the final moments of the game, and that's unlocking Akechi's 3rd tier persona, Hereward. Now, there are a lot of things that can make me consider putting an item on this list, but one that serves to unlock a secret, super powerful persona, especially one as awesome looking as Hereward, to gear up for the game's finale, definitely makes this, in my opinion, the best glove in the entire series. Alrighty, and there we go, the best gloves in the Persona series. Did I leave out any particularly good gloves that you think should have been on this list? What are some things you'd like to see in a future Pointless Persona Picks video? Let me know all your thoughts down below, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So until then, take care.